Problem 5, the quadratic that we need to graph is g of x equals negative 2x squared plus 4x minus 2. The first thing we want to do is we want to find our vertex. Our vertex is an ordered pair, so I like to always start off by writing an ordered pair. And I know that my x value always comes from the formula negative b over 2a. And we want to identify from our function that b happens to be a positive 4. So we would have a negative from the formula and a 4 that's positive from our equation. Then 2 from the formula is multiplied with negative 2 from the a value. Simplifying all of this, we would have negative 4 over negative 4, which gives us 1. The vertex is going to start with the ordered pair of an x value of 1. Now I want to know the y value of that particular vertex, and I do that by substituting 1 into the function. We would have negative 2 multiplied with 1 squared plus 4 multiplied with 1 minus 2. The order of operation would tell us to square the 1 first, giving us negative 2 multiplied with 1. And negative 2 multiplied with 1 is negative 2. 4 multiplied with 1 is 4. And adding all of these values together, I find out that I have a y value of 0. My vertex, I'm going to put in the middle of my table, is 1, 0. And while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and put that point on my graph. Before we build our very extensive table here, which direction will our graph go? Thank you. Tara, what was that? It will go down. Good. The a value is negative, so if I just put a quick sketch, it's totally a sketch. That's what our parabola should sort of look like. And Aaliyah was smart. She told me, Kim, you graphed that wrong. 1, 0 should be over on the positive side of that x-axis. All right, so now we need to create our table of values. And if our x value was 1, then values that are larger would be 2, 3, and 4. Values that are smaller would be 0, negative 1, negative 2. So notice I counted up and then I counted down. Now we take time to figure out what those y values are. So I'm going to pause the recording. Now that we have the table of values, we can go ahead and plot this. I guess one thing I'll do before we plot it, just to emphasize it, is we know that the y-intercept is going to be our c value. So our y-intercept is going to be the ordered pair 0, negative 2, because negative 2 is our c value from our original function. Okay. Let's plot those 7 points. Now negative 2, it's the c value of your function.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it's always that. All right. Now if I plot the ordered pair negative 2, negative 18, I just realized it's not going to be on my graph at all. So I'm not going to plot it. But it's there. And the second ordered pair is negative 1, negative 8. It'll be in quadrant 3. Third ordered pair is 0, negative 2, which happens to be our y-intercept. The next point is our vertex, so we don't need to plot that. Then we have 2, negative 2. It'll be over in quadrant 4. And we have 3, negative 8, also down in quadrant 4. And we can see that we have symmetry by plotting those correctly. We do our best to connect those in a U shape. If you wanted to put an axis of symmetry on this, maybe a problem was asking you to put an axis of symmetry, you would dot it right down the middle. Now I had already labeled the y-intercept because it was our c value. We can also say that our x-intercept is the ordered pair. Well, it happens to be our vertex because that's where we're crossing the x-axis. That intercept and vertex are both 1, 0. I don't think I've missed anything on that. We've plotted the vertex, the intercepts. Yeah. Problem 6 has a function h of x, just to have us get familiar with different letters. And it's h of x equals x squared minus 1, and you'll notice that this only has 2 terms in it. So it's sometimes helpful to remind yourself what the a, b's, and c's are when there's only 2 terms. Okay, our a value is, of course, 1 because it's a silent number in front of x squared. Our b value is 0 because there's no x term. And our c value is the negative 1. Let's start off by figuring out our vertex. Our vertex is an ordered pair. We find our x value first with the formula of negative b divided by 2a. Okay, our b value is 0. And our a value is 1. Having a 0 in the numerator is going to make this entire answer 0. Now if our vertex has an x value of 0, to figure out the y value, we need to put 0 into the function. We have 0 squared minus 1, which is minus 1. Our vertex is going to be at the ordered pair 0, negative 1. Happens to be on the y-axis, down at negative 1. Okay, so make sure that you get your vertex in your table in the middle, and from there I would increase the x value by 1. So I go 1, 2, 3, and I would decrease the x value by going negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Okay, similar to last time, let's do this collaboratively. We have our table of values now. We can see that there's symmetry going around that vertex. The 0s match, the 3s match, and the 8s match. So you always want to see that symmetry going on. Now we're going to plot those points. Just take your time and do it. When you get your points in there, make sure you have a U shape and not a V shape. And the next piece is I'm going to go through and label all the pieces that we can put words to. So we have our vertex that we already found earlier, and it's the very bottom of your parabola. So I labeled that with the word vertex and the ordered pair 0, negative 1. The other point that also is it also happens to be our y-intercept. And it's the y-intercept because it crosses the y-axis. It also is our y-intercept because if we look back up at our c value from our function, that is a negative 1, so we know that's our y-intercept. The x-intercept, well, we actually have two x-intercepts in this problem because the graph crosses the x-axis in two locations. It crosses the x-axis to the left of the origin, and that ordered pair happens to be the ordered pair -1, 0. And then it also crosses the x-axis at the ordered pair 1, 0. We can see those back in our table because an x-intercept will always have a y value of 0. You can spot those in your table also. So we have two x-intercepts. They are -1, 0 and the ordered pair 1, 0.